Regular meeting of the Fairhaven Historic Commission. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. At the time that the board reorganization in January of this year, the board adopted its regular meeting schedule for the year. Notice of the schedule was sent and published in the Asbury Park Press on January 26, 2024, and notice to the Two River Times on February 7th, 2024. The notice was also posted on the bulletin board in Borough Hall and has remained continuously posted there as required by the statute. A copy of the notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the Borough Clerk. A copy of the notice has also been sent to such members of the public as have been requested. Such information in accordance with the statute. Adequate notice having been given, the board secretary is directed to include the statement in the minutes of the meeting. Can we have a roll call?
Mr. Pavlo.
Here.
Mrs. Drummond. Mr. Anderson. Mrs. Mullen. Mr. Schluter.
Here.
Mrs. Mandian. Mrs. Psora. Here. Mr. Smith. And Mrs. Nika.
Okay, so we're going to switch things around a little bit. The first one I'm going to bring up is 763 River Road, Semolina Pasta Shop. Come on up. Yeah, you can. So the first thing I got to tell you is we did not have a quorum. So there was one person who fell ill. We have some, we're having some issues with people that are moving. Another person has resigned. So and other people are away and what have you. So we can discuss it, but we can't take a vote and approve your application tonight because we don't have a quorum.
Okay.
So and I feel particularly sensitive about that because I know you guys are a business, you're trying to open, you know, I don't know when the planned opening is.
Well, I think I can I get away with opening without signage? Am I allowed to open without signage?
Yeah,
Or
so
maybe, like,
Well, here's even, I'm gonna actually do you one better than that. And I say that because we've looked at the sign. The sign is of a configuration and style that's very similar to a lot of different signs. It's similarly, you know, configured within the historic district. I can't imagine, and even the three of us talking about it informally, I can't imagine there really being a problem with its approval.
okay,
By next month, you're going to have a quorum of people, and I can't formally tell you, yes, you're approved, but I don't think that you're going to have any type of an issue. So that's as close as I can give you to sort of, if you need to order it, if you need to start moving forward with it, whatever you have to do, but you know, I can't give you the approval to do that.
I don't know if would it be okay if I put up just an A-frame sign, like now open Semolina Pasta Shop on the sidewalk?
Like
I don't know
a
if that's-
temporary thing.
Yeah, that's it, because
Absolutely.
I'm hoping to open April 5th,
Yeah,
Friday, so.
absolutely.
If
Yeah,
that's,
absolutely.
I mean, and then I'll just hold off until the next meeting to get all this approved. If that.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
fine.
again, it's
Yeah.
up to you however you want to handle it. I don't know whether you guys want to comment on the signage and what your thoughts are and this idea of doing it.
I like the signage.
Yeah, I based it off of the ink sign, which was approved right
Yeah.
underneath it, black, you know, white with black border around it, and just the lettering to kind of just keep
It
it
looks very.
clean and simple and.
Yeah, so basically what we would do is you have to affirmatively tell me that you're changing your application to an informal application, meaning that you're not seeking us to take a vote. And then next month when we have a quorum, we'll take a vote. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Yeah, and again, I can't give you the authority or the approval to do anything, whether that's the temporary sign or opening.
Okay.
But, you know, you pretty much can. The temporary sign, you're not gonna have any flack from this commission. Certainly opening is not something that, you know, we have any interest or, you know, are gonna take any position on. So it's kind of business as usual. If you want, again, if you want to order the materials, that's up to you
Okay.
with, you know.
And
you're
Yeah, and in fact, there are other small businesses in town like Canyon Pass. They actually use their signboard very effectively for special occasions in
Right.
addition to the regular
Yeah.
signage. So I think you going that route anyway is actually a nice way to introduce everybody to.
And we were actually talking about it this week and I saw Joe and I said that, you know, I probably have to recuse myself anyway, because I'm so thrilled that you guys. What you put up there, because I'm only kidding. Yeah.
Can we get the pork chops there?
Yeah, right, 10% discount. So that's what, oh, wait a second. I'm getting a call back, yes. Just off the record. Hello? Yes. Of the January 20, actually, we have to wait till Pat gets here to approve the minutes. We have some people from the Historic Association here, both Elise and Tracy. Do we have any reports from the Historic Association on Bicentennial Hall?
Hi,
Hi,
wait, do I have to introduce myself?
we know that you're Elise Casey.
Okay, I think Katie's gonna touch on this too, but last night at the council meeting, we had a brief update about what's happening with By Hall and, which is kind of nothing right now. They filed for a 6-month extension on the grant.
Okay,
And we're waiting on something from DPW and Katie, I don't know if you had any other updates that you wanted to add.
No, yeah, so. Everybody knows, I'm sort of have a liaison role to the association, but when we have the president of the association here that can report, then I'm kind of giving you that for time.
They haven't gone out to bid yet, so we're just kind of waiting.
okay. And off the record, we were speaking about an email that went out by Teresa Casagrande about the pews. Some of the pews are in the basement. Some of the pews are up on the main floor. Maybe tell us a little bit about it and what the thoughts are about those pews and different ideas about preserving them. I assume that's the intent.
Yeah, that's the intent. We had brought them up a few weeks ago, 3 of them, 2 of the original shorter ones and then 1 of the longer 10-foot. We brought them up, we cleaned them, rug pads were put on each footing, and we had 2 people come in to give us quotes on the restoration and cleaning of all of them. So both gentlemen saw the ones up top and the ones in the basement, and we're waiting on quotes still from both of them. But the intention was to have them displayed in an art show on April 19th. Just to lay some sort of, artwork on them and carefully. And no intention of having anyone sit on them or having all brought up, just maybe 6 or so in total. And I think that might be getting denied.
Right, yeah. And I think the between the lines purpose as well as the original blueprints for the restoration of this chapel, actually, or By Hall, back in the 80s, showed those pews, all of them actually installed in place. And from day one, the association has never had that as the goal for this current view of it, because we know this is a multi-use building which already has been used for many purposes. That said, once those sampling, I call it the sampling of pews, was brought up, it literally hit everybody like a lightning rod as to what the intent of the historical significance of the building was. And that it actually serves a very practical purpose. It's actually a lovely way to sit if and when they do get restored, if that gets approved. And it really is a nice link to the historical significance of the chapel. So this wasn't like practical, we need places to sit, let's bring them up. It literally was, those are beautiful and historic pieces of furniture. And for those that are listening in, we learned that the original carver, woodworker, in the mid 1800s, he was the descendant of a freed slave. And he was also the first Black man in Monmouth County to be allowed to serve on a jury in freehold in the late 1800s. And, hi Pat, and what's interesting.
They needed a report.
Yeah, that's fine. What did you just call?
And the Bible that Borough currently uses to swear in, hi Pat, was donated. This Bible was from the mid 1800s, belonged to this carpenter. And it was passed to the family, and the Half Alberts family donated it to Borough Hall. So that's a long way of me saying there's some very great connections to the history, and the association's goal is to generate interest and advocacy for this chapel. So
Yeah.
it all kind of ties in together.
At this point, I think we just want to get them cleaned and restored as the next step.
And they're in good shape.
And
Yeah.
is there an understanding or thought as to who's gonna pay the bill for whoever is selected to do the restoration?
Not exactly. There's been, some ideas thrown around about, whether that's historic association or like an adopt a bench kind of, and you pay for whatever that quote is, but maybe a family in Fairhaven can adopt a bench and pay for the restoration and stuff, or the historic association would pay for it.
Do you have a price on how much it
No
would
price
be?
yet. No price yet, we're still waiting.
Wait till you get the price. and
Yeah.
See.
Yeah,
And then see, yeah, we just wanna see them cleaned up and loved, and then properly stored, for whatever we're not using.
Was that a request to prolong the decision on the grant? Was that granted? Was there any response back on that?
Yeah. Yeah,
The grant you're referring to, excuse me, Tracy Cole, I'm the liaison also. Affiliated with
Council liaison, historic semi-liaison.
Are you referring to the grant that came up at the council meeting last night?
Well, the one, I believe the one for the ADA compliance, wasn't that the one that they were seeking an extension?
That is correct.
Okay, is that granted?
That was granted.
Okay.
That was done internally for, workload reasons. It wasn't at the direction of council.
Mhm.
A subtle but important distinction. I hope to have more information about the status of the remaining work, which is not much, is a piece of work. It's not from the outside architect, that piece of work that remains incomplete is on the borough. So, hope to have an update for this body association, perhaps by Thursday, which I will convey to you.
And what's the other one you were talking about, the grant?
So, right, last night, the council entertained a recommendation from the grants committee to apply for a grant in the amount, south of 75,000, north of 5,000, perhaps in the $30,000 range, for a planning and programmatic set of services from a professional planning group that would work with the community to create a strategic or programmatic plan for Bicentennial to identify the highest best use of the facility, considering the borough comprehensively, given the other amenities that we have and giving the other facilities we have, what is the unique role of Bicentennial Hall? Again, it's our only public historic structure. So there was a discussion, a lengthy discussion. And in the end, it really took the commitment of the Historic Association, who was willing to pay the application fee of a not to exceed number of $5,200. We did get a second estimate, which was more in the $3,700 range. I expect the actual cost of the application will probably be somewhere between those two, or if not closer to 3,700. When the Historic Association committed to the application fee, the consensus of the council wasn't quick, but it did ultimately determine that would be a good thing for the borough and that the application would move forward. We did not hire although there was a proposal for council, we did not retain them last night because we have a little mechanical step in terms of how we get a check from the Historic Association to the borough. All the nuts and bolts aside, it means that on April 8th, there'll be a resolution before council to authorize the go-ahead for the preparation. The work at the moment would be prepared by Colliers and with a kickoff meeting to scope those services immediately following the 8th, because the application is due the 18th.
Okay.
Yeah, but the key thing I just want to highlight is that it would be to come up with a strategic plan for programmatic elements that would enhance the historic significance and the stories within that are true of that structure and Fairhaven. And that it would be a community-based initiative, meaning anyone who cares to participate in the planning discussions about what's the rightful role of that building in our story today and our history can participate. So that's the idea with this grant. I hope to keep you updated.
Great. Anything else? All right, thanks very much. Okay, round two, we can bring you back up. This is 763 River Road.
Yes. Okay. So, outdoor signage, on the street, put on existing posts, 47 inches wide, 24 inches high, black border, lettering to match current ink papery sign, white composite, weather resistant, same as the ink papery sign underneath it. Also have interior door sign, logo. The logo size 24 inches wide by 32 inches high. vinyl, semi-transparent, so on the picture, the white around like the wheatgrass is actually gonna be semi-transparent. They just did that to show the actual cutout in the vinyl.
The door sign, that's gonna be
It's
internal.
inside,
Okay.
inside, there's the outside main door, and then there's a secondary door on the inside. I didn't,
All right.
figured I'd include it just in case. And then, outside window. The entire window size is 99 inches wide by 57 inches high. The sign, size will be 90 inches wide by 14 inches high, same material as the interior. Vinyl lettering in navy blue. With just the wheatgrasses on the edge of each side, keeping it in the bottom of the window so you can see through it.
Yeah, so I don't think that we would have jurisdiction over the interior sign. So that, you know, that wouldn't really be something that we take a position on, because it's not something that's the exterior of the structure. And I think that the sign, the lettering, the design, the style is consistent with other signs that we've approved in the past. Is an improvement, looks good. I think it's a good application all around. I don't know whether anybody has any thoughts.
I agree with you. I think, you know, it looks really nice. The size is perfect.
Yeah. Any thoughts or any comments or thoughts from the audience? No? Okay, so I'll make a motion that we approve the application in full, both with regard to the exterior sign on the post and also the signage that appears on the window facing River Road.
I'll second that.
Okay, can we get a vote on that?
Mr. Pavlik?
Yes.
Mrs. Drummond?
Yes.
Mr. Schluter?
Yes.
Mrs. Pacora?
Yes.
All right, great.
Thank
Sorry
you.
about doing a little unorthodox, but get it
Thank you so
done.
much.
Thank you, welcome. Good luck on this. The next application is 772 River Road, Mary Sheridan, signage replacement of old signs, 3 in total. Just gonna get who you guys are, so pick that
Mary
one.
Elizabeth Sheridan.
Let me rush.
Okay, and you guys are the owners of the
Yes.
business, okay?
So you should have this.
Yeah.
If you'll just reference the two bottom ones, those are the direct dimensions. It's the 19.5 by 11 by ½ inch acrylic. They're all white acrylic. So we'll be replacing on the front of the building. It should be in the application as well. This will all be removed and that sign will be up there. As well as another one on the front corner. And then in the rear of the building, just a small one, that is the 19 by 11.
You're gonna remove the sign where the 2 lights are on the second floor, that's gonna be removed?
Yes.
Yeah, and the hot yoga and the fire bar will be removed as well, will just be that one, this one image.
And all the signs that the predecessor business there, Salt, those are all removed already?
They're gone already, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And is the, are these signs gonna be, you said it's, so it's just a flat, is it like a decal that goes on? I'm just not sure about the type of material that it is.
It's white acrylic, it's like a plastic PVC almost with the little studs that go on the back.
Okay. And is there any texture with the sign at all, or is it completely
No, it's
smooth?
just gloss.
Mhm.
And what's happening upstairs?
It's downstairs.
No, but I mean,
Oh.
is it being used? Is it still being used by the?
It's still the same business, we're just
Okay,
doing
yeah.
new, we're just doing new signage, we're just
Yeah.
updating. them.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that, you know, the building is a historically significant building. The signage is somewhat modern, but I don't think that it specifically detracts from the building. And I don't see anything objectionable about the signage itself. I think we probably would have preferred something that is maybe textured or something like the predecessor business had, which were, you know, raised letters, things of that nature. But obviously the sign that we just approved and other signs in the district are the flat PVC type material. So I don't see any problem with the sign.
Is that, is the inset around it remaining and there's putting in the new sign in that inset, or it looks like it's.
Yes, all the insets stay, all of they stay, just this gets removed and it's,
So it'll have like a natural
it'll have a
frame.
natural frame
It's a
around.
little
And
3D.
the post sign that's there that's being removed, is that just a flat sign too, that's there now?
Yeah, I mean, it's in that.
Slightly raised.
Yeah, slightly raised, same depth.
Any other thoughts?
I was just gonna say, just so you know, you probably know that this building was called Liberty Hall at one point.
Yeah, Mike gave me the history of one.
Oh, okay,
I
good, good.
remember, because I know he said he updated the whole building for
Yeah.
historical purposes. And
But
he loved the
that's
signs.
what it was called. They used it for, you know, back in the 19th century for meetings and stuff.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
very cool.
And they used to play, the men played basketball upstairs and they would have to take the what do you call it, the stove, the potbelly stove that was in the middle of the room.
Uh-huh.
They'd have to, the strong guys used to have to pick it up and put it in the corner. And nobody wanted to come in, they would play basketball upstairs. And nobody from the towns around would want to come because the guys in front Fairhaven would shove the people into the stove, so they could win.
That's like what she does
That's-
nowadays. It's a different version of what she does.
I just thought you'd like to know that.
You do. It all makes sense now.
Okay, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I'll make an application that we approve the sign as indicated in the presentation.
Second.
Can we get a vote?
Mr. Pavlik,
Yes.
Mrs. Drummond,
Yes,
Mr. Schluter,
Yes.
Mrs. Besora.
Yes.
Okay, congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
oh my God, I had to tell somebody.
You should come to a class.
Yeah.
People in the pot.
Are you kidding? I would be dead in about 1 minute.
No, you wouldn't. I would make sure you could be next to me.
So we have no environmental roundtable discussion because Steve isn't here. The report on the commission's interaction with Preservation Commission of Red Bank. Last Wednesday, I appeared before the Preservation Commission in Red Bank. They basically had a change of government, so they had a hiatus of their Preservation Commission, but now they're bringing it back. My observations were that it's a much more formal board than we have here. They have an actual attorney that also works in other capacities in the borough that sits full-time on the commission. They have a lot of, their issues are a bit grander than what we have here in terms of developers, a much bigger commercial district, and constantly having to prevent mass development, buying up smaller properties both on the west side and which I think only has minimal historic district connection, but in the area on Wallace Street and across from Riverview Medical Center is an area that's constantly fighting development, things of that nature to try to prevent. So I told them about our situation. They, apparently we have a reputation of doing the right thing. And I told them also how we work with business owners and work with applications and applicants, and frequently the product that is ultimately developed is much better than the applicants initially thought of when they come with an application, have a design. Maybe they're frustrated in the beginning because we don't ordinarily give just a rubber stamp of approval, but working with Joe, working with Jay, and sort of changing the plans and coming up with something that's agreeable turns out more often than not to be a better plan and a better.
We didn't want to pay for a lawyer. We had a lawyer right from in the beginning, in 93 when we started, right? Was it 93?
Before my time.
Oh, okay. So anyway, it was 93, just.
Well,
Anyway,
before my time,
Oh.
before my time.
we did have a lawyer and we thought, what are we paying him for? We didn't need him.
Okay, approve the minutes. I reviewed them. I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that.
Mr. Pavlik,
Yes.
Mrs. Drummond,
Yes.
Mr. Schluter,
Yes.
Mrs. Besora.
Yes.
Okay. Any other thoughts, comments, things from the audience? Yes, no.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome, guys. Very good. So
I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
Thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, I had some tea. I had my fingers crossed, but you know what? I got, you know, you okay?
That's.
No.
Oh,